Okay, so can you introduce yourself to get us started, please?
Yes. So my name is Giulia Cuccato. I work in a government office for science, which is the group of people that support the government chief scientific advisor, who is the main scientist that provides advice to the prime minister and government in general.
In your role, how do you ensure that the government has access to the most current and relevant scientific advice?
So we've got, obviously, in government, in the UK government has got an amazing science system made up by the government chief scientific advisor, but then there's also chief scientific advisors in every department. And these people are academics that are working in government, mostly part-time, and they bring their expertise, but also their network of contacts into government. And so the CSAs we call them CSAs for short, but stand for Chief Scientific Advisors, are definitely a first place and a first port of call for scientific advice for policymakers. There's also other ways in which we provide science advice into government, like roundtables of experts. Lots of departments have science advisory councils, which are also a group of experts that meet regularly and advise on evidence for policy. There's also other ways of getting evidence into policy, such as commissioning of research projects, direct commissioning, and commissioning of evidence synthesis. It's about knowing the system and knowing where advice is needed and where there is a mature enough system for it to be received as well. So, like I said, there's a lot of working with stakeholders. It's a communication job more than anything. Establishing trusted relationships with people is extremely important, so that there's a possibility of knowing where the advice can come from and where it can land safely and effectively.
To build a little bit further on advice for researchers, are there specific or particular databases or tools that you use when you look for specific kind of research?
One of the things I do is I use a lot the ARI database. So if I have a question, like a policy question, that will give me an idea from the policy question of which groups or might be working on a similar thing or on something that has got something to do with it, because the ARI database links not only the ARIs, but also the UKRI funded research projects that have something to do with that ARI. So following that up, then you can find the research groups or institutions that have more of an interest in that particular area. So that's a really useful thing to do.
Really, I'm saving the most difficult question for last. But what are some of the biggest challenges that you face in integrating scientific evidence into advice that can be used in government policy?
So the biggest challenge, there's two. Like the two biggest challenges are time. So the time alignment is very difficult to achieve. I guess that's what we mean when we talk about evidence policy gap, really. That is the fact that to generate evidence, it takes a certain amount of time, and policy more often than not asks a question and wants an answer in 2 days. And that is a big problem, very big. And that's why it's important. I've been saying this, and I keep on saying this, to cultivate those relationships so you know that question is coming before it actually comes. So I think that's the biggest problem. The other one is around the communication piece. So, being able to put that evidence in a language that will be received. And the third one is then giving that evidence to the person that is actually going to be able to use it somewhere. So again, knowing the system and being able to land it in the right place. I've been working on this for a long time, trying to address all of these three things in turn, but it takes a long time. together. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We're very close. There's lots of things that are helping now, but I think at the moment the best option is really cultivating those relationships and knowing the system as much as possible.